Sophia.
Hi, Caitlin. Yeah, we can start the session now. Hold on a bit. First of all, yeah, hello everyone. Thank you so much for joining and welcome to Strike Labs community. Today we are doing space with Cyrus Finance. It's going to be really incredible Q&A session. So please stay around. We're gonna discuss their ongoing stuff, future plan, and other activity that's happening right now within their ecosystem. So please watch us till the end. And without further ado, let's welcome Caitlin here. So, yeah, it's a pleasure to have you, Caitlin. Thank you so much for joining. Welcome to today's AMA session. Could you please share a bit about yourself and then we discuss in more detail about the status?
Yeah, wonderful. Hi, Sophia. Hello to the Strike Labs community. Thank you very much for having me on board. So, my name is Caitlin, guys, and I'm very glad to welcome all of you to this AMA session. So, just a quick introduction about myself. So, I've been working in the DeFi space for quite some time now. Basically, I'm focusing on how protocols evolve, how communities grow, and most importantly, how real value is created in decentralized systems. So today, guys, in this live stream, in this AMA, we're not just going to talk about updates, but we're going to talk about direction, about our vision, and about why Cyrus Finance is being built the way it is, and what that means for you, the one listening as a user. Because, guys, as we know, DeFi is no longer just about yield, right? It's becoming something bigger. It's becoming about control, about flexibility, and the ownership of your financial future. So, yeah, I'm very excited once again to be here in your community. Thank you very much. Let's dive right in. Okay, so actually, Miss Sophia, if I may, before we start anything, do you mind if I maybe give an introduction about what Cyrus Finance is, especially just for our new listeners?
For sure, go ahead.
Okay, wonderful. So, like I've mentioned, guys, today we're not just going to talk about updates, right? We're actually talking about the direction that the entire protocol is heading to right now. And alongside that, we're also going to discuss about why Cyrus Finance is becoming not just a tool, but a full-fledged next generation financial ecosystem. So first, let us start with a quick introduction. Okay, I'm just going to flash this, guys, on your screen. So, as we know, guys, the world of finance is changing rapidly, right? Us users, we no longer want to depend on banks, right? We don't want restrictions anymore. And we don't want dealing with intermediaries or, third party middlemen. That is why, guys, Cyrus Finance is the answer for that demand, for that change that is happening right now. So our protocol is actually built from the ground up as an open system where capital moves freely, users can make their own decisions, and of course, the access to this protocol is not limited by geography, meaning you can access it wherever you are in this world. So, as you guys know, this isn't actually just a simple trend, as most projects nowadays are becoming based off, right? Technically, this is the foundation of the future financial systems. Now, you might be wondering, hold on, okay. Now, you might be wondering, guys, why should you, as a user, why should you choose Cyrus Finance? Guys, there are actually so many projects in DeFi space right now, right? But if we open our eyes, right? If we examine each and every one of these DeFi projects, only few of them can really offer a systematic approach, right? Hence as to why Cyrus Finance stands out through three key factors. So, first and foremost, we have capital management flexibility. That just means that us as users, we are never locked into the strategy. You have the freedom, you have the flexibility. The users, we can manage our positions We can adapt to the market and we can make decisions in real time. So it doesn't mean if you have, like, for example, if you've invested for this strategy, you're just going to be locked into that specific strategy. No, guys, that's not how it works, because once again, Cyrus Finance is allowing capital management flexibility. Alongside that, guys, we have a living ecosystem. So, as you guys can see, this protocol is not a static product at all. Let us give everybody a wide overview about our ecosystem, okay? Let me just. Okay, so, guys, basically, this protocol is all. Hold on. Am I lagging, guys? Hold on.
No, all good.
Okay. Okay, thank you. Thank you for confirming, Sophia. All right, so going back, guys, like I've mentioned, we have this living ecosystem. This is not just a single product. This protocol is technically an environment where new tools, new strategies, and interaction mechanics continuously emerge. So, guys, basically, it's not just limited to one product, one feature, whatnot. This is a living, breathing ecosystem. And the third key factor, guys, is our protocol is maintaining this balance between yield and stability. Guys, Cyrus Finance doesn't chase the short term hype as most projects do. The primary focus of this protocol is actually based on a stable and well considered growth model. Now, moving ahead, guys, okay? Actually, right now as we speak, we are only at the beginning of the journey. What's ahead, guys? Basically, lies the transition from a DeFi protocol to a full scale financial infrastructure. In the future, guys, Cyrus Finance will be an internal economy where positions become assets. We're going to be having advanced liquidity management tools. We're going to have derivatives, hedge, there will be integration of new financial models. It will be up to date, guys. It will be very relevant, very on time, and there will be, you can definitely expect a stronger role for the community in governance. So if you guys can take a look in our roadmap, just a quick scan, guys. I'm not just going to be going to full details because way back in our last AMA, I've already done a thorough discussion regarding the roadmap. So please just kindly refer to our previous AMA. But as you guys can see, each next phase we're targeting, it really makes the system more autonomous and stable. For this year, guys, we're focusing on utility and market expansion. For the following year ahead, we're going to be focusing on tokenization and governance layer, which means it would give the community a stronger role within the protocol. By 2028, this will be the implementation of advanced liquidity management tools. This will be the advanced DeFi, wherein we're going to be introducing derivatives and advanced financial instruments, advanced financial tools. And by 2029, we're aiming to have the financial infrastructure expansion, meaning you guys can definitely expect the integration of more new, more trendy, more relevant financial models. And by 2030, we're aiming to have and to release Cyrus Chain and to have the global infrastructure layer to be released all at once. So, as you guys can see from our roadmap, right? Each phase is focused on one strong component within the ecosystem. Once again, it makes the system more autonomous and scalable. Now, guys, one of the key shifts actually already underway is a transformation of the user's role. So if you're interested in this protocol, guys, of course, as a user, where users once simply invested, right? If you've tried out other protocols, right? What you do, you just simply invest, right? But guys, right now in this protocol, you're now able to manage strategies, You can now participate in shaping the market and even influencing the direction of the protocol. That is why, guys, Cyrus Finance is creating this environment where every participant becomes part of the system, not merely a user of it. Once again, guys, the team is really pushing their best to give the community a stronger role in shaping the future of this protocol. Hence, as to why, guys, we're working things out in a way that you would have a protocol where you actually belong, right? Not just a simple participant inside of it. Now, remember, guys, as we always believe in, confidence is the foundation of growth. The team, the Cyrus Finance team, thoroughly believes in that. Guys, why? The future is actually impossible without trust. And I know that most of you guys can definitely relate and understand where I'm coming from. This is exactly why the protocol's architecture is built around transparency, around automation, and security. As you guys can see, we've done. Okay, from here, we've done remarkable efforts in regard with safety, in regards with transparency, because we believe that every decision we're doing as a team, it would all be aimed at ensuring that users feel in control of their funds at any given moment. So as you can see, we have partnerships, collaborations with Certic, just to give the community the safety level that they need actually, when managing and handling their funds. Now, another thing that I want to mention, guys, actually, is one more thing from here. Okay, I know that we might have some queries in regards with this, but Cyrus Finance is already uniting users across the globe. As you can see, guys, the world map from here, and we've actually gathered data just to know how distributed our global audience is. But guys, remember what matters the most is not the current scale, okay? It's the momentum. As we can see, growth is actually happening. It is happening organically without dependence on any single region. And as you can see, it is evenly distributed. The interest is evenly distributed worldwide. So this is really the hallmark of a sustainable long-term model. Now, guys, just to end things off, guys, most of you might be wondering why should now be the perfect moment to join this protocol, to try this protocol. Guys, I want all of you to bear in mind that every market cycle creates its leaders. Right now is when the projects that will define DeFi for years to come are being formed. And actually, guys, just what I've presented to you, Cyrus Finance is one of these projects, right? Because why am I saying this? Guys, basically because here in Cyrus Finance, we're building a system, not just a product. We're thinking of years ahead, right? I've shown you guys each phase, I've shown you the roadmap. 2026 to 2030, we have solid plans. So, as we're thinking of years ahead, we're creating value, not just yield. And we believe that should be the future of DeFi. So, the bottom line here, guys, is Cyrus Finance is not just another DeFi protocol. It is basically a platform for capital management, an ecosystem with an internal economy. And most definitely, this is a step towards fully decentralized finance. And one more thing, most importantly, guys, this is only the beginning. The future is already taking shape, guys, as we know, and it is being built right now. So that's just the bottom line of everything I presented. Just a quick bird's eye overview in regards with what Cyrus Finance is, what we're committed to, before we dive into the question. So I'm gonna pass the microphone back to you, Miss Sophia, in case I I take more of our audience's time. So back to you, Miss Sophia.
Not really, Caitlin. Thank you so much for that great presentation. Really appreciate it. I think you covered all the possible details regarding the Cyrus. And guys, still, if you want to know more about the project, do check it out their documentation for more detailed information. So now, guys, let's jump into the Q&A part so that you guys can get the or I will get the more clarity on behalf of Caitlin. So yeah, let's start with our first question. So Caitlin, could you please answer like how is the geographic presence of Cyrus Finance evolving, and are there any new dishes joining the ecosystem?
Yeah, wonderful. And I think we got it perfectly in time right on our screen. So guys, if you have joined our previous AMA session, you may remember that we already spoke about the global nature of Cyrus Finance and how the protocol has been attracting users from different parts of the world. Since then, guys, the trend has not only continued, but it actually accelerated further. Now, to build, guys, on what was shared previously, which is what you're seeing right now on your screen, we're now, in addition, guys, to what you're seeing on your screen, we're now seeing active growth in several new regions. And among the countries that have recently joined and shown strong engagement are Italy, Georgia, Argentina, United Kingdom, Czech Republic, and Switzerland. So, what I'm mentioning, guys, is they're not just new points on the map, okay? For us, guys, they represent a meaningful expansion of the ecosystem into diverse economic environments and user segments. And what is particularly important is that in these regions we're seeing not just plain casual interest, okay? But what we're seeing from these numbers on the screen, from these countries on the screen, and the additional countries we've shown growth, what we've actually seen is it is like a steady inflow of new investors who are actively exploring and participating in the protocol. And at the same time, guys, what I want to mention, this expansion is not limited to these countries that I've mentioned alone. Not limited on these countries you're seeing on the screen, not limited on what I've mentioned a few minutes back. Guys, Cyrus Finance is continuing to grow beyond them, gradually increasing our global footprint. So, as of now, the protocol is really bringing together users from around more than 40 countries worldwide, and this number is continuing to rise, okay? This kind of distribution really highlights a very important dynamic, as you guys have noticed, right? The growth, it is organic rather than localized. It is diversified rather than concentrated because as you can see, it's basically distributed, right? The interest is distributed. And this growth is continuous rather than episodic. So every day, guys, new users from different regions, they discover the protocol. They test its capabilities and they become part of the ecosystem. And I think this really matters. Why I'm mentioning this? This matters because in DeFi, guys, geography is not just about location, but it's about resilience. Remember, a protocol that is used across multiple regions, multiple economies, and market conditions is inherently stronger. They're more stable and more adaptable. Once again, guys, Cyrus Finance is gradually moving towards that kind of global structure. One where growth is not dependent on a single product, but supported by a wide and expanding international community.
All right, that's really impressive, Caitlin. Thank you so much. Like, I mean, like already users from over 40 countries are being part of the ecosystem. And what stand out to me is like how organic and diversified this growth is, and it really shows the resilience of the project when it's not dependent on just one market. So this global foundation startup perfectly for our next topic. So, looking at the bigger picture, Caitlin, like what is the long-term development vision for Cyrus Finance, and where do you see that the protocol by 2030, and how does the roadmap unfold step by step?
Thank you, Sophia. And I think I've mentioned we've run through this, guys, from the introduction that I've mentioned to all of you. Guys, Cyrus Finance, as I've presented to you, is not developing in isolated updates. Okay, we are evolving through a clearly structured long-term strategy. So this roadmap that I'm about to present to all of you is stretching from 2026 to 2030, and it reflects a gradual transformation of the protocol from a yield-focused DeFi solution into a full-scale financial ecosystem. And each stage from our roadmap builds on the previous one. So it is interconnected, and it's creating not just new features, but new layers of utility and interaction. So let us now take a closer look and at how this evolution is designed. So our first stop is 2026, which is the foundation expansion and utility growth. So this first phase is actually focused on expanding how users interact with the protocol. So during this stage, Cyrus Finance is moving beyond traditional liquidity tools by introducing more engaging and flexible mechanics. One of the key directions, guys, as you can read from your screen, just kindly zoom in if it's too small. One of the key directions that you're seeing out there that I'm going to highlight is gamification. And the gamification part, it basically includes the launch of an NFT based play to earn game where NFT assets are directly connected to yield strategies. And at the same time, guys, the ecosystem is becoming more flexible by this phase, right? From everything summarized, users can now gain access to an NFT positions marketplace. Liquidity positions can be traded. It can be fractionalized. The analytics tools, it becomes more advanced, more data driven, and we're also looking at multi-chain integration that would open access to broader liquidity. So this stage really laid the groundwork for a more interactive and more scalable system. Now moving forward to our next phase, which is by next year, 2027. By 2027, this will be the tokenization and decentralized governance layer. So here in our next step, we're introducing one of the most important elements of any mature DeFi ecosystem, and that is its own token, of course. So by here, we're aiming the launch of the CYS token that would not just be about adding a new asset, but it would be about redefining how value circulates within the protocol. And with deflationary mechanics and staking opportunities, this token is really becoming a core part of the internal economy. Now, at the same time, on this space, governance mechanisms would begin to take shape. Users will gain voice in protocol decisions. Integrations with centralized exchange would expand accessibility. We're aiming for more of those. And there will be lending use cases and collateralization of LP NFTs that would emerge by this stage. So you can say that this stage is where Cyrus Finance begins transitioning from a product into a community influence system. Now, moving ahead by 2028. Okay, so this is the advanced DeFi mechanics. So as the foundation continues to strengthen, right, with the previous phases, the protocol would now move into more sophisticated financial territory. So this phase would introduce advanced tools, typically associated with high-level trading environments, such as a perpetual DEX for continuous trading. We're also aiming to introduce structured vault strategies with different risk profiles, volatility based yield approaches, prediction markets, and cross chain liquidity routing. And in addition, guys, we're going to be having institutional grade APIs that would begin to appear. And we believe this would open the door for larger players to interact with the ecosystem. And by this point, Cyrus Finance is no longer just user focused, right? We're becoming infrastructure level. Now, by 2029, this is the expansion of our financial infrastructure. So, this next layer is all about independence and internal strength. So, Cyrus Finance is beginning to build its own financial backbone by introducing a native lending protocol, a deeper collateral system using LP NFTs, the introduction of a stable asset called CUSD, and also we're aiming for advanced key yield strategies such as delta neutral frameworks. So institutional partnerships would also become a key focus by this phase, which would strengthen liquidity and long-term stability. So all in all, guys, this stage transforms the protocol into a more self-sufficient environment where multiple financial instruments can coexist and interact. Now, our last stop in our roadmap is technically the 2030 roadmap, which is the Cyrus chain and global infrastructure layer. So, technically, this final stage represents a major leap. That is the transition to proprietary infrastructure. So, the launch of Cyrus chain would mark the point where the protocol no longer depend on external networks for its core operations. Now that we're going to be introducing our own blockchain, Cyrus Finance can now offer high speed execution for complex DeFi strategies. It can now support native integration of all ecosystem components, cross chain bridges for global liquidity flow, and full DAO treasury management. So, by this stage, guys, the vision is really becoming clear. That is a fully integrated, high performance DeFi ecosystem with a multi billion TVL target. And I think that is really the face by face explanation of the entire roadmap. And I hope you guys understood how this journey will continue to roll out in the next following years.
All right, that's really great. I'm like, it really shows the, the future plan is really ambitious and I'm like, we all are looking forward. It feels like a true evolution rather than like a random feature drop here. And I believe this kind of clarity is in DeFi really gives the community something concrete to look forward to. Thank you so much, Caitlin, for the detailed information. And what lies ahead? Like, what are the most exciting near-term development for Cyrus Finance? Like, in particular, Caitlin, can you tell us about the upcoming Cyrus Finance marketplace and how it will like change the user experience?
Okay, wonderful. That's a very good question. So, like I've been mentioning repeatedly, guys, the DeFi space is evolving quickly, and I know that you guys can actually feel right how fast that evolution is. And Cyrus Finance is growing alongside it. One of the key upcoming milestones is the launch of our Cyrus Finance Marketplace, which is an internal platform where users will be able to buy, to sell positions directly within the ecosystem. So this is actually, we treat it as more than just a new feature, okay? It technically changes how the protocol works at its very core. It's going to offer more flexibility because until now, guys, users typically have to hold positions until completion. But with the marketplace, that changes. With the marketplace, guys, users will now be able to exit positions early, to purchase positions from others, and to fully control entry and exit timing. So this makes the system far more flexible and dynamic. Now that we've got the marketplace, positions will no longer feel like locked deposits, okay? Instead, they become tradable assets that users can hold, can sell, upgrade, replace. So, this basically creates an internal market where value is shaped by supply and demand. Now, it's also going to be characterized by having a built-in security. So previously, guys, off-platform deals it carries risk, right? Because you have to to jump from one place to another, you have to trust one platform to another, right? Basically, it carries risk because of the lack of trust, lack of transparency, and protection. However, now that we're going to be having the marketplace is the solution for this problem. How? By keeping all the transactions strictly within the protocol. So everything inside their marketplace is automated, everything is secure and fully verifiable. Now, looking ahead, guys, for sellers, this means that they would now then have the ability to set fair prices, right? And for buyers, they would now then get access to a transparent and competitive market. So at a higher level, guys, the marketplace is a step towards decentralization where users play a bigger role in shaping the ecosystem. So for a final thought for that question, Cyrus Finance is building more than a DeFi tool, okay? It is creating a flexible system where capital moves freely and users stay in control. And we believe the marketplace is the next step in that evolution.
For that detailed information, for break that down detail so clearly for our audience. And I'm like, clearly, I'm like, that's really a smart move towards a true flexibility and user control. So looking forward to seeing it live. And beside that, what makes Cyrus Finance fundamentally different from the hundreds of other DeFi protocol out there, Caitlin? Like, what's the core philosophy for set you apart? That set you apart, yeah.
This is actually a very good question. So, the key differences, guys, it lies in how Cyrus Finance approaches the concept of capital. Guys, if you've tried this DeFi at other DeFi platforms before, most DeFi platforms they treat liquidity as something static, right? What you do is very simple. You deposit, you wait, you withdraw. So of course the system works, but we believe it doesn't evolve with the user. That is why Cyrus Finance is taking a different path. As we know, guys, here capital is not passive, it is dynamic. Positions are not endpoints, they are instruments. And the protocol itself is not a product, but we're treating it as an environment. So everything is actually built around adaptability, the ability to react to market conditions, the ability to reposition assets, the ability to make decisions instead of waiting. So this environment is transforming the entire user experience. So you're no longer just earning, you are participating. And that shift is what defines the next generation of DeFi.
All right, got it, got it. That's really wonderful. Thank you so much for outlining those excellent point. Caitlin. Thank you so much for that. That's a very interesting perspective. Rather than like treating liquidity as a passive asset, Science Finance is building an environment where user can actively manage and adapt their capital. So yeah, really appreciate it. And I think now let's talk about like why, like for user who may be exploring multiple DeFi opportunities and like comparing different platforms. Why should they consider becoming the part of the Cyrus Finance ecosystem today?
Actually, the answer for that is very simple. Guys, it's because it's not just about what exists today, it's about what this system is becoming. Cyrus Finance is offering flexibility instead of rigidity. We're offering evolution instead of stagnation, structure instead of chaos. But most importantly, we're offering positioning. Being part of a system at the stage where it is still forming, it means you're not just using it, you are growing with it. And in DeFi, that makes all the difference.
All right, Katie, thank you so much for that great detail. I'm like, that's a perfect summary because flexibility instead of rigidity, and evolution instead of stagnation, and the chance to grow with the protocol while still early. That's a good, I'm like, summary. And it's not about today's APY. I'm like, it's about being the part of something that's actually building towards a full ecosystem. That long-term positioning angle is very compelling. And now I have last question for you before closing this session. So let's talk about the ecosystem side. What's happening within with partnerships and integration? Who is Cyrus Finance currently working with, and what new corrections can the community expect?
Yeah, for sure. So the partnership and integration side of Cyrus Finance is something we're actively investing in. And there's a lot happening behind the scenes and that we are very excited to share, actually. So let us start with where things stand today. Guys, we've got collaborations with Chainlink, and Chainlink remains the backbone of our price infrastructure, providing manipulation resistant Oracle feeds for all price dependent operations. Certic continues to support us on the security side with real-time monitoring through Skynet, and this is running 24/7. PancakeSwap is serving as our core liquidity layer, and it's giving us access to deep and reliable trading volume within the BNB chain ecosystem. And at the same time, we're already integrated with the bank, one of the leading DeFi portfolio trackers. So this allows our users to seamlessly track their Cyrus Finance positions alongside their broader DeFi portfolio in a familiar and transparent interface. But everything of this, guys, is only just the beginning. What I can mention now, we're actively working on new integrations with other portfolio trackers, other wallets, and ecosystem tools to make Cyrus Finance a natural part of how users manage and monitor their assets across DeFi. Now, on the product side, guys, this protocol is also evolving. Beyond liquidity pools, we're preparing to introduce new yield strategies, which are more flexible, more diverse, and designed to meet different user goals and risk profiles. So, to cut the story short, guys, the vision is very clear. Wherever DeFi users are, Cyrus Finance will be there as well. Fully integrated, easily accessible, and continuously growing. So more updates and partnerships are on the way. So stay close, everybody.
That's really awesome. Thank you so much, Caitlin. Really appreciate it. And I'm like, it's also exciting to hear that additional integration with the wallets, portfolio trackers, and DeFi tools are already in development. Looking forward for all these updates. And I'm like, thank you so much for this insightful explanation. And as we close in this session, Caitlin, do you want to say something to our listeners, a closing statement?
Well, yeah, I think we covered a lot of ground today, and I hope what came through wasn't just information. I hope what came through was the spirit of what we're building. Guys, just to wrap things up, Cyrus Finance is not trying to be everything to everyone. Okay? Hence, you can actually see it in a way, in a perspective that we're trying to be exactly what DeFi should be, which is transparent, secure, community driven, and built to last. So, as you know, the sessions will keep coming, the updates it will keep shipping, and the roadmap will keep advancing. And this community, guys, all of you, will keep being the reason it's worth doing. So, yeah, thank you, everybody. Thank you so much, genuinely. See you next time in our next AMA session.
That's perfect. Thank you so much, everyone. We'll see you next time, and do follow all the social links of Cyrus Finance. They will give you all the update over there. And this particular session is already recorded, so you can check it out later. And that's it. Looking forward for many more sessions like this along with you, Caitlin. Till then, all the very best from our side, and we'll see you soon. Thank you so much, everyone. Bye bye. Have a great day.
Thank you so much. Bye bye, everybody.